tonight, Ukraine sounding the alarm. Air sirens blaring across much of central and eastern Ukraine today as Putin's forces ramp up. And tonight, Ukrainian troops have now completely withdrawn from Soledar. Putin's forces are making gains in the east, but any small gains are coming at great cost. I mean, just take Soledar. No one knows the number of dead there. It's really unknowable at this point, except that it is unbearably high for the prize of a small, not strategically located town. So tonight, Russia controls Soledar. So just take a look at this. What does that even mean to control Soledar, that town? Well, here's new video. You can see it is a total wasteland. Total destruction. And it's only 5 square miles. All that death for that. And tonight, the battle is raging on in nearby Bakhmut, where 2 Ukrainian fighters there tell CNN the situation in the city is incredibly alarming. Here is some new audio that we're going to play for you. This is a Ukrainian soldier who is on the front line there in Bakhmut. Listen to him.
The city of Bakhmut is constantly under artillery and airstrikes. The Russians are now massing infantry, using armored vehicles and tanks, and making minor advances. They are climbing like cockroaches. Our units are holding their ground and holding the line of defense.
The word cockroach is, of course, multi-layered there, but the image is of swarms of Russian soldiers, and it does add to Putin pushing the image of a massive escalation. Just take a look at this image from today. This is a Russian warship armed with hypersonic missiles, training with Russian allies, China and South Africa, right? They want everyone to see these images, but of course, that is a powerful system. And Ukraine's defense minister tonight is proclaiming that the Ukrainians now have more to fight back, the iron fist to break Russian lines. And that is because the Ukrainians, of course, now formally have U.S. and German tanks, both countries agreeing to send their top-of-the-line tanks to Ukraine. The U.S. is providing Zelensky with 31 highly maneuverable M1 Abrams tanks.
Today's announcement builds on the hard work and commitment from countries around the world. That's what this is about, helping Ukraine defend and protect Ukrainian land.
These tanks are a significant development for Ukraine. And while Russian state TV tried to downplay the tanks, one Russian war reporter who has been there on the front lines warned Putin not to dismiss the help. And this reporter saying, and it's significant again because it's in the context of Russian state television, the reporter said, even without air support, such vehicles are a very serious threat and could cause our advancing troops a lot of trouble. If we are talking about hundreds of armored vehicles, the effect could be the same as the appearance of HIMARS units at the front, which of course transformed this war months ago. Fred Pleitgen is out front in Kramatorsk, that is near where the battles are raging in and around Bakhmut. And Fred, I know that you've been talking to so many of these Ukrainian soldiers on the ground and Bakhmut. What are they telling you about the importance of the tanks?
Hi there, Aaron. You know, we spoke with soldiers fighting on the front line in and around Bakhmut, and they were absolutely elated to hear that Western Main battle tanks could be coming to Ukraine in the not too distant future. They say tanks have been absolutely essential to help them hold Bakhmut for this long. Of course, they understand it's going to be a while before tanks actually get here, but they say right now they need all the help they can get because the Russians are making a huge push to take Bakhmut. Here's what we're learning.
The Russian army claims its overwhelming firepower is decimating Ukrainian defenses on the most brutal front in this war around the town Bakhmut.
15 men just ran into this house.
Yes,
target hit. He managed to collapse the middle of the building.
Ukraine has now acknowledged losing its last foothold in the small town Soledar north of Bakhmut. The Russians there, mostly mercenaries from the Wagner private military company, judging by their own claims.
We were fast to select the target, charge up and hit it. We hit it precisely. We hit the building right in the place where the ATGM was located.
But despite sources telling CNN the U.S. has advised Ukraine to withdraw from Bakhmut, even Wagner commanders admit Kiev's forces are fighting back.
The
enemy puts up fierce resistance to our fighters. The enemy is holding on and is getting additional reserves and military supplies.
And the Ukrainians continue probing in other areas far from Bakhmut, the military releasing this video of a daring raid across the Dnipro River in South Ukraine taking out a Russian command facility there. But to go on the offensive, Ukraine needs hundreds of main battle tanks. So far, Western partners have pledged about 100. Moscow has vowed to hit those tanks when they enter Ukraine and is conducting a show of force of its own, sending the frigate Admiral Gorshkov, which Moscow says carries hypersonic missiles, to ocean drills with the Chinese and South African navies. But for now, Bakhmut is the epicenter of this conflict, and Ukrainian soldiers here say they will fight for every inch.
One day their artillery works, and the next day their infantry assaults. It's a difficult time now, but our boys keep standing their ground.
So as you can see there, Aaron, pretty tough for the Ukrainian soldiers on the front line right now. What we're also hearing from senior military commanders is that the Russians are bringing more and more personnel, but also a lot of heavy equipment to this front line. It seems as though they really want to take Bakhmut and also some of the surrounding areas as well. In fact, the Ukrainians are saying there's almost constant shellings and also a lot of attempts by the Russians to try and breach the front lines. Aaron?
All right. Thank you very much. Fred Pleiken.
Come to TurboTax and don't do your taxes. Meet with an expert who will do them for you, so you can do not taxes.
The woman was in the apartment that was destroyed, which was actually hit by the missile strike. According to our information, she was here in the place, as a family members informed. They have been rescued and we are still looking for this woman. So far we know about 3 people. No, moderate severity. Now they have been taken to hospitals. Doctors will diagnose them more thoroughly there, and they will know more specifically. According to the information of our specialists, it was an S-300 missile because the wreckage was found, which is typical for this type of missile. Why are the residential buildings? Why a residential building in the city of Dnipro? This is just terror and extermination of the Ukrainian people.
На крыше!
I was in my bed and I was thinking. And suddenly, such a strong force swept me up. I flew out of the bed right into the kitchen. How was I not killed? I do not know. On the second floor. All the windows are broken. God knows what's inside the house. Physically, I feel bad. How would you feel yourself if they have such strong missiles? It's better to not mess with them.
The woman was in the apartment that was destroyed, which was actually hit by the missile strike. According to our information, she was here in the place, as her family members informed. They have been rescued and we are still looking for this woman. So far we know about 3 people. No, moderate severity. Now they have been taken to hospitals. Doctors will diagnose them more thoroughly there, and they will know more specifically. According to the information of our specialists, it was an S-300 missile because the wreckage was found, which is typical for this type of missile. Why other residential buildings? Why a residential building in the city of Dnipro? This is just terror and extermination of the Ukrainian people.
На крыше!